You finally found the tool that makes the financials easy to explain. The dashboard is clean. It looks solid. This is the meeting you walked into feeling ready. Then comes the question, how does the loan actually get paid down? That's the moment you realize your new dashboard was almost helpful.
Hey, it's Cashflow Mike, and I tell you what, I want to talk about this whole theme that I've got, this almost helpful theme, right? It describes a feeling to me. Like whenever we get a brand new tool, we get a brand new system, we're excited. We're excited about the possibility of what's going to happen next. And what we often find is that tool stops short. It almost gets us what we want, and then we always have to go find that extra piece, right? So, I think Ron White said it best, right? And Ron White's the comedian where he talks about he's flying in a plane. I think they're over Arizona or something like that. And one of the engines goes out and the guy next to him is freaking out. He's like going, hey, I wonder what's going to happen. How far do you think we'll make it? That's what I'm talking about, that feeling. How far do you think we'll make it with the situation that we're in? And Ron White says calmly, he goes, well, I think we'll make it all the way to the scene of the crash, right? And I bet we beat the ambulance there by 30 minutes. It's that feeling. Now, I'm trying to be funny with it, but let me tell you why tools stop. Why is there not a solution out there, that takes you from A to Z? It always gets you to like A to S or A to Y, but it never gets you all the way to Z. So to me, tools stop for a few different reasons. One of them is that they're built to describe and not really built to decide. So think about that. They're built to describe an action. They're built to describe what the information is on the screen. They're built to analyze the numbers and give it to you. They're not built to help you make a decision, right? There's no jump from information to judgment. It just isn't there, right? So that's one of the things, right? There's no real connection to what the next action is. What should I do with this information? The next thing is that tools are really built for accuracy, not confidence. Think about that. They're built to be accurate. They're built to be correct and consistent and defensible. But where it stops short is that it doesn't tell you what matters most right now. It doesn't tell you what can happen if you wait. It doesn't tell you what happens if we do nothing. So they're very accurate. They give you all the information, but they don't give you the confidence to know what the right move is at the right time. That's one of the things I'm trying to solve as well. When somebody asks me what we should do, my tool, the Clear Path to Cash, is built for that moment. So the other thing that I think about tools that are out in the market right now is that they end where responsibility begins, right? So think about that. They end where responsibility begins, because too often people don't want to be in the position where I give you advice, but I don't want to take the responsibility for the advice being wrong. I don't want to take the responsibility for any outcomes that happen on your end. That's on you. Well, that's where you don't trust the data, right? If you don't trust the data, if you don't trust the advice that you're being given that it's going to do the right thing, then why should you trust the tool at all, right? If they're going to stop right where responsibility begins, well, that's where I take a second look at different products. Because I used to tell myself about the Clear Path to Cash. The Clear Path to Cash to me was, I'm afraid, this was my biggest fear going in, I'm afraid that I'm going to collapse the economy because people are going to believe me, and there'll be a Wikipedia page about how the Clear Path to Cash ruined the whole U.S. economy. I don't have to worry about that because I've seen it play out now for decades on how things happen. What is the cause and effect of every decision that we make? I have confidence in giving you and taking the responsibility with you for making the right decision. The other thing is that they're built for what I call asynchronous work, right? They're built for you to review later, to think about things offline, you're going to follow up afterwards. They're built for not the live moment. They're not built for real time. So you're always leaving somebody hanging. You're always kind of leaving them with a question like, oh, let me get back to you. Let me follow up with you later. But that's where the pressure happens in the meeting. That's the meeting. It's happening in real time, right? It's that uncomfortable silence where I don't really know what to do next, so I need to buy time with my client. It's right when somebody is waiting for an answer that's when that tool leaves you short. And then the last one, right? The last one for me is tools don't understand the conversation. They just give you information. They don't hear the hesitancy in your client's voice. They don't hear the urgency or the fear or the opportunity or the context. They don't hear any of that stuff. They don't know why the question's even being asked. So advisors do. If they have the right information in front of them, they can determine what to do next. So tools don't often understand, or AI especially, the context that we're having the conversation in. That's where everything stops. So tools stop because, they don't finish the job. They stop without finishing the job, and they leave you one step short of doing the best job that you can for your clients. They're going to explain, they're going to organize, they're going to clarify, but they don't choose or prioritize or commit or guide the next move. That gap isn't incompetence, it's design. So think about what you're going to do next. And if you're ever in that position, that awkward silence where you don't know what the next move is, think about the clear path to cash. It's built for that moment.
You finally found the tool that makes the financials easy to explain. The dashboard is clean. It looks solid. This is the meeting you walked into feeling ready. Then comes the question, how does the loan actually get paid down? That's the moment you realize your new dashboard was almost helpful,